Hey everyone, welcome to BrickVault. Today is another LEGO Top 10 Mocks of the Week episode where I show you the coolest custom creations I happen to find people building in LEGO bricks throughout this last week. There are way more than just 10 cool builds, so I have left links in the description below for a ton of different designers. If you have any extra time at the end of the video, I highly recommend you check some of these guys out on their accounts. And usually before I jump into honorable mentions, I talk about the weekly custom build that has popped up in the web store. We had a sale instead last week. So anyways, this YouTube channel doesn't do Patreon or sponsored videos or have merch. Instead, we partner with amazing LEGO builders from all over the world who have some awesome models. And if you wanted to build any of them, the instructions and parts list files can be bought there. The steps are curated for clarity. The parts are chosen for availability. And if you ever wanted to take the dive into doing some LEGO custom building, BrickVault.toys might be the place to start. All right, let's check out some honorable mentions of the week before top 10. Rapid fire, we got Castor Troy's Steampunk Explorers. I think it's a digital build, looks amazing. Volker Broadkorb built the Drake Vulture from Star Citizen. It's a great 1:100 scale starship model. I've been waiting to see this next one built in LEGO bricks. It is a Stargate themed model, the F302 from Private Cookie. Such an interesting flyer design. I really like how he managed to get it to come together though. Y Muto built a sea house and all the different layers that you could find here. From Brickhausen, this is the Tree of Life. The Salvador Dali inspiration is pretty heavy here. I love the melting clock. And then we've got a fairly clean looking micro scale build from Inthert. This is a sea fort. Another relatively simple looking build from Nobu Terry. This is a Shiba Inu, very minimalist. Marco DeBon is at it again with another amazing robotic design. This is the LEGO FA18 Lucifer with some excellent mechanical builds. Greg DIX has the Arrival of the King. This is a preview. He's going to have more pictures next week, he says. And from Neon 5, the title here is Breakout. Lots of action happening in this little sci-fi scene. Alrighty, let's jump into top 10 now. This first one is a Star Wars theme, and not gonna lie, I feel pretty nostalgic looking at this one. From Hypolite Bricks, this is Scraping for Parts, Y-Wing on Yavin 4. The diorama at this scale really allows the builder to focus on the details of the Yavin pyramid. There's a lot of wonderful broken away bricks and tiles. The jungle is creeping in along the tarmac with some excellent dimensions to the plants. And everybody always talks about Y-Wings getting worked on with crazy maintenance, but now you actually get to see quite a bit of that. The design is based on Jarek's Y-Wing, but there is quite a lot of modification that really adds to the depth of the internal mechanical details for this ship. These are presented in no particular order of best to worst, by the way. Number 9, moving down, is from rockmonster 2000. Great name for a designer. The title is Oni, and I love this character. It's got this ability to look incredibly detailed and really expressive, but it also almost feels simple enough to the point where maybe you could see this appearing in a LEGO set at some point. It just feels very accessible in terms of the build, but there's an element of detail and presence to this character that just pops quite a bit more than what you might normally see in a LEGO set. The detail for the hands is great, and now that I think about it, maybe I chose this build because I just saw that movie Wailing last night, and I've got this weird like devil thing still stuck in my head. He does have sort of a demon look to him. All right, we're jumping down to number 8 from the G Bricks. We have the Lamborghini Centenario, or two of them in fact. One of them looks to have sort of a Bugatti coloration, the dual blues, while the other Lamborghini comes in the classic yellow. There is just some excellent sleekness to this model. I love that even at this relatively small size, he manages to capture that aggressive forward lean. And when built for a minifigure, I think there are very few things that could have been done better to improve the overall shape of these models. Let's have some fun now, jumping over to a builder qian. This is the Mermaid, or just Mermaid is the title. So we have some excellent colorful details for Ariel. Flounder looks a little bit small in her hand, which is kind of funny. And there's a nice weightlessness to the character as she sits on the rock. The flowing hair has some great shapes. I like the arcing fish that cuts around the body in the front. And all in all, it's just a fun, very expressive display piece. Now, I couldn't help myself. We showed a model from Inthert last week. Here's another amazing looking starship from the same builder. The title is Quattro. And just look closely at all of the subtle brick connections that you have around this whole model. Inthert employs the snot technique here. That's the acronym for studs not on top, which I honestly think needs to start getting expanded quite a bit more. I don't think any serious Lego builder has anything against studs showing up on their model, but there is something to be said about the types of angles and shapes that you can create when you're really focused on clean connections. If you like Lego spaceships, this simply is the guy for you. There are so many wonderful color integrations here. But now let's jump over to a fun model. I'm not gonna lie, this is pretty nostalgic for me, from Tino Poutianen. This is Kai and Lord Yupa. Kai is the chocobo looking bird-like runner creature, and Yupa, the sword master, is standing there with the hat, cape to one side, and I'm not sure what's in his hand. I think this is a scene of what he looks like from the very first time you see him in the desert. If you haven't seen Nausicaa yet, I highly recommend you do. That's what these characters are from. And the build style for these models are just excellent. I really like the use of the palm pieces used at the legs. The white bar piece sticking through the modified brick works great for the single white eye. And of course, the white croissant, as Yupa's mustache is probably the single most expressive piece I can find on these creations. Now let's jump over to a small vignette. Number 4 is from Fabian B. This is Mission 2.1, Disaster on Dantooine. It's one of the more relaxed and nature-focused small Star Wars dioramas that I've seen recently, and there are some excellent creative choices made, especially for the big fat tree. I want to say there's something like this that exists on Earth, like a big fat trunk of a tree with like these small little branches. I love the way that this is captured though. The offset stacked slopes that are all on top of each other really creates a fun texture for the trunk. The red rounded flower studs all bunched together really pop visually. And there's even some more fun details when you look lower down. I like the use of the flexi tube as the handrail. Why not throw Fox the Phoenix in there? He deserves a little spot as a wild bird. Now number 3 is a pretty epic piece here from Pieter Dennison. This is Fall of Shinigana from Attack on Titan. I never finished the show, but I gotta say this does capture quite a few of the creepy and action and crazy elements, what really draws you in first as an audience member. We've got a Titan, or this gigantic naked person in the middle of a town. Everybody's running in fear. I love the use of, I just love that building technique for the curved rooftops. It's a really strange and interesting approach to get those shapes. It looks excellent. The builds for all the different structures really do seem to have quite a lot of detail speckled in there. And it's a model that isn't just both impressive with its size, but it really does have tiny details as you look up close. But don't look too closely at the guy being eaten by the giant naked person in the middle of the town. This is really weird if you don't know what this show is, and only just slightly weird if you do. Okay, let's move on to number 2. SarielLego built the BTR-80, and it's just awesome. It's way above Fig scale, and with that you get a lot of opportunity to start showing off some better details. Coming from Sariel, you just know that this thing it can probably drive on its own and turn and do all that stuff. Yeah, when you look at the underside, there is certainly a motor there, and according to the description, well, here you can also see that the turret at the top is also remotely controlled. And it's just cool to see so much form and functionality and detail all thrown together in one creation. If Lego Official wasn't against making military-style vehicles, this very well could be something that they would pursue. And if they did, my guess is it would be very popular. All right, let's jump on over to the last model of the week. This was just such a cluster of craziness that I could not ignore it. From Blair Archer, we have Interstellar Defense Corps T-Rex. Kind of reminds me a little bit of the Mad Cat from early Mech Warrior, but just souped up to a ridiculous degree. Every spot where there can be guns, there seem to be guns, and then there's a few more guns on top of that. The missile pods really pop well with the red highlights. I don't know what I'm looking at in terms of weaponry. Are they rail guns for the arms? I think they are. They look cool. And then right underneath the cockpit, you have all kinds of weapons all just sort of tucked away in there. And it's just a satisfying overabundance of gratuitous military weaponry. On top of that, the shaping for the robot body itself does look to have quite a lot of nice angles. The build quality really seems to be spot on. And this thing is standing standing all up on its own, which is pretty darn impressive considering how top-heavy it must be. Anyways, that is it for my personal favorite 10 LEGO creations of the week. Links to everybody and more are all in the description below. If you have any extra time, check out our web store as well, www.brickvault.toys. Thank you so much for sticking around to the end of the video. If you enjoy our content, feel free to like, subscribe, comment, share, and we'll see you next time at BrickVault.